Hi there, and welcome back to my channel. Please join me for a few days as I bake, cook, and do some things around the house, all while answering your guys' questions. Okay, so the first question that somebody asked was tips for living on one income. And to be completely transparent, my husband actually got a pay raise, which has helped us out tremendously. But even before that, we always tried to be frugal. For instance, at the grocery store, I focus on buying items on sale and avoiding processed foods, not only because they're unhealthy, but also because they tend to be expensive. We also shop secondhand as much as possible. Thrift stores and Facebook Marketplace have been really great for finding furniture and household items. At one point, I even cloth diapered, though I stopped before having my second Isadora. I might pick it up again, though. We'll see. Little lifestyle adjustments like these really tend to add up, in my opinion. So question number 2 is, how did your husband come to Orthodoxy? So my husband was baptized Catholic, but wasn't actively practicing his faith for much of his life. In his late 20s, he started to search for the truth. One day, a friend of his who happens to be Orthodox posted a picture of an icon on Facebook. And I believe that it was this moment that kind of sparked something in him to keep searching more, and he eventually made some connections in the Orthodox community, including meeting my grandparents, which my grandfather, for those of you who don't know, is an Orthodox priest. At the time, there weren't many Orthodox churches in Brazil, so my grandparents offered to baptize him if he came to the US. He decided to take that leap. He got baptized here, and that's actually how we met. But we didn't start dating until about a year later, and that's the short version of his journey to Orthodoxy. Question number 3 is homeschool or public school. I would say, or I know, definitely homeschool unless we end up living near a parish with a solid Orthodox school. There are a few here in the US, but for now, homeschooling is on the plan. I would also be open to maybe doing a homeschool co-op of some sort if there happened to be one in the area that we are living in when we start to homeschool our children, but we will see what the future holds as far as that goes. Okay, and question number 4, how to start scrapbooking for kids, tips and tricks for that. So I bought baby books for both of my girls, though I'll admit I don't fill them out as often as I would like to. Thankfully, though, these books mostly focus on the first year, so they're already pretty full. For Juliana's, I did add some special keepsakes, for instance, some stickers that people gave her, an outfit, and a little pair of slippers that we bought for her. I tucked them into an envelope in the back of the book. I also have a separate box where I save some little things that I want to pass down to them when they're older, maybe for their own kids one day. I would say that if you're just starting out, don't stress about making it look absolutely perfect. Just collect the things that are meaningful as you go, and I think that it will come together naturally. And actually, while I'm kind of working on making bread, a friend of mine asked me if I would rather stay up late doing stretch and folds or go to bed early. And she's joking, of course, but to be honest, I've definitely stayed up way too late working on my blog and different sourdough recipes and stuff like that. So yeah, I need to work on going to bed earlier for sure. So question number 6 is about mental health and faith, and why does God let us struggle? I don't think that I can fully understand why God allows us to struggle on an individual level. But what I do know is that our struggles can push us to trust Him more and ultimately draw us closer to Him. I've had my hardest moments, but looking back, I can see that God was always there even if I didn't feel it at the time. A quote that I love and that always comforts me is, "There's no sorrow that heaven can't heal." I hope that this helps even just a little bit. And then question number 7, was being a mother the only thing that you wanted to pursue? For some time, being a mother actually wasn't the only thing that I wanted to do. I happened to have an associate's degree in human services, actually. So after high school, my goal was to become a social worker or maybe a psychologist or even a therapist. I knew I wanted to help people, but I wasn't necessarily drawn to the medical field. I also worked as an advocate at a domestic violence shelter for about a year before I left when I was 5 months pregnant with Juliana. At that point, I felt deeply called to be a stay-at-home mom and homemaker. My husband was always very supportive of whatever I chose to do, but we both knew the importance of staying home with our children if possible. However, even with the challenges, I wouldn't trade this for anything. I really do love being a stay-at-home mom and homemaker. And as for the future, well, I've thought about maybe getting into birth work or growing my blog into something a little bit bigger, but we'll see. Let God's will be done. All right, and then question number 8, how did you know this was the right path? What challenges have you faced? So this kind of goes along with the question that I just answered before. Anyway, growing up, I always knew that I wanted a family, but public school kind of pushes the idea that you must have a career, which there's nothing wrong with that, but God calls each of us to different things. For a while, I tried to go along with everybody else and what they were doing and focused on finding a career that I thought fit me. I really struggled with this. I knew that I wanted to help people, but nothing quite felt right. Then I started dating my husband and we talked about the future. That's when it became clear that I wanted to help people, but in the form of taking care of my family. To me, that is my calling. It hasn't always been easy, but knowing I'm living the life God intended for me gives me so much peace. All right, and the final question for today's video is, what's your prayer rule with your kids? We try to make a point to always have the kids around us when we pray, seeing us pray, do prostrations, cross ourselves, etc., teaches them how to be attentive and respectful. Since Orthodoxy engages all of the senses, seeing the icons, touching prayer ropes, hearing hymns, smelling the incense, it really helps to immerse them as much as possible. That being said, it's not always easy. Sometimes we shorten our prayers because quality is better than quantity. The goal is to establish a rhythm of prayer in their lives, not to make it feel like a chore or a burden. Something that has helped us a lot is singing different prayers rather than just chanting them. So for instance, the prayer that we sing after every meal, the prayer of Thanksgiving, we will oftentimes sing, and our Juliana absolutely loves singing it with us and will chime right in. If you've made it this far and haven't yet subscribed, please be sure to do so to keep up with all things Orthodoxy, homemaking, and motherhood. I would really appreciate it tremendously. I again also want to thank each and every one of you who have subscribed to me so far. It has really been such a blessing and such an amazing thing to me. I love how we're kind of creating a nice little community of like-minded women here on YouTube. So this project that I'm working on is actually for a mutual friend of my grandma and I's. She happens to be Amish and she hasn't been doing the best lately health-wise, so we are all putting together a little scrapbook for her. I'm not sure what it is, and maybe you can relate, but there's just something about the cold and the snow outside that really makes me want to just bake and create inside the home where it's warm. So right now I'm working on making cookies for my husband and for us too. Juliana decided that she wanted to help out, so I have been trying to get her to help me more in the kitchen, which, you know, to her is a lot of fun. She likes it and doesn't mind it at all. And so it has been just really neat showing her how to do different things in the kitchen. And really, I think that that's the beauty of being able to stay at home and be with the kids all the time, is that yes, it can be challenging, but you get to be right there and show them how to do certain things and watch them learn right before your very eyes. And that to me is really incredible. I've really been into Mod Podge lately and trying to create different things with it. I am using it again on another shell just to kind of see how this one goes. It's a lot bigger than what I'm used to working with, but I think it's going to turn out really nice in the end. I just wanted to show you guys what my shell turned out to be like, or now looks like. So here it is. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I am not sure what I'm gonna do with it yet. I'm probably going to gift it to someone, so we'll see about that. I was thinking maybe I would give it to my mother-in-law when she comes, but we'll see, like I said. So I hope you enjoyed this week's video. If you did, please be sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, bye!
Bye!